WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Connor James. In late April, a house fire in the Tots community of Harlan County claimed the lives of 3 people. Allison Howard and her 3-year-old twins, Olivia and Alex, died as their home caught fire. The only survivor was Allison's husband, Chad Howard. 80% of his body was burned, and for months, Chad was in ICU. Today, he and his son, Ozzy, sat down with me for the first interview since that April day, where he talked about his loss and how he will remember his family.
And my wife and those twins was what I lived for.
Chad Howard still to this day wonders why.
I believe God's got other things for us once we leave this earth. Why? I don't know.
In April, he lost his wife and twins when his home caught fire. Chad was the lone survivor.
And the moment I felt my wife die in the coma, I decided to quit living him.
With 80% of his body burned, Chad was in a coma for days and in ICU for months. He bordered death several times. He says he was ready to die, but his 17-year-old son, Ozzy, kept him going.
He needs me. I won't fight, and I ain't quit fighting. And I knew he brought me out of the fire. I knew he was going to make me walk again, and here I am.
The two say words cannot describe the pain, but from that pain has come something else.
As tragic of a time as it was, at the same time, there's a heartwarming effect at the same time.
Hundreds have reached out to Chad during his recovery. While in a coma, the 3 were buried. This Sunday, he will hold an event at the Harlan Center where he can remember his family.
I want to see the kids smile like I seen Alex and Olivia smile. I want the people to sit around together and eat just like they would come to my house, all the neighborhood kids. Yeah, they're neat.
He says it will be simple, but it's just an easy way to remember his family.
And I want to thank everybody. Because in all reality, it would have been 2 years to been at the progress report that I was getting at 4 months. Oh, a miracle.
And show his gratitude to the people who never left his side. Now, the event Chad is hosting to remember his family will be Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m., like we said, at the Harlan Center. He says he plans to have an area where people can learn about fire safety as well.
Overall, it wasn't a bad day here in the mountains. Now, we saw those clouds stick around, which kept us a little bit on the cooler side today. Interstate 64 up into Moorhead. You can see those mostly cloudy skies and that sun setting. It's been a pretty quiet night, and it's been a pretty nice dry night across the area. You can see those clouds along satellite and radar, so we saw a few of those dissipate. Now we're seeing a few more move back into the mountains as we head into the overnight hours. So those areas that seen a little bit less cloud cover, such as the Cumberland Valley, they're into the upper 30s to lower 40s. You're seeing those lower 40s really across all of the area, especially up into the Big Sandy region. 42 in Jackson, 41 Prestonsburg and Pikeville, and even up into Moorhead as well. Now for tonight, most of us actually will stay around those upper 30s to lower 40s with that cloud cover filtering back in and act as that thermal blanket and keep those temperatures right near those upper 30s to lower 40s. But as we head into tomorrow, sun and clouds return back to the mountains. Will be a little bit warmer as well, and then we'll be tracking that next cold front Friday and Saturday, which will bring soggy weather back into the mountains. I'll have those details coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. Well, Martin County's water issues have reached a new level. Today, the Water District announced a partnership with the Alliance Water Resources. The utility management group from Missouri will take over management for the Water District in January, with hopes of bringing the county above water. Concerned citizens say they hope the new contract will bring change to the community.
With the mistrust that we've had, people have not felt comfortable coming forward and saying, what's wrong with my water bill? Is there something I could do to make this better? And so I'm hoping that this group will help us with that.
The contract will be funded by adding a surcharge of $13.16 to customer bills each month. $3, excuse me. Back in Hazard, a water main break forced restaurants to resort to bottled water and canned soda to be able to give their customers a drink. While this has become a practice they have to perform more often than not, they say more than anything, it's just a hassle to go out and buy the ice, soda, and water.
The hassle is having to physically go and pick up the 20 bags of 10-pound ice or whatever it could be, or buying cases of pop.
City officials say if tests come back clean, they should have water as early as 5:30 Thursday evening. Well, a Laurel County man is behind bars after deputies say he tried to hotwire a dead vehicle. Investigators say this man, 31-year-old Jeffrey Dixon, was arrested last night. A homeowner caught him trying to hotwire a truck that couldn't start. Deputies say Dixon was intoxicated and combative. They were able to arrest him and take him to the Laurel County Detention Center. Well, Kentucky is ranked at the top of the list, but it's not a list that you want to be on top of. Kentucky ranked 4th in distracted driving fatalities during a 5-year span, according to data from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Jody Sims with Kentucky State Police says there are a few key components to distracted driving.
We know that, when driving, you've got several different types of distractions. You've got the visual, which drivers take their eyes off the roadway, the hands, when you're taking your hands off, and then cognitive, when your mind is not on driving.
Sims says the use of electronic devices impacts all 3 types of distractions, with the majority of people having these devices. That could be why the problem is becoming more prevalent. Well, truck drivers continue to struggle finding a place to park overnight. That's compounded by Walmart's decision to not allow semis to park in their lots overnight. Truck drivers say they were kicked out with a boot on their vehicle. Investigative reporter Miranda Combs talked to the Kentucky Trucking Association. She explains why they say the problem may be getting worse.
We've been down this road a time or two and studied it from different directions. We've heard the drivers.
I know my rights. That's illegal, dude.
And we've heard from Walmart customers.
Yeah, they'll knock, barely tap on the door. That way they know they won't wake up, so they can boot them anyway.
Everyone concerned and frankly mad that a group called R&R Management has taken over security for the parking lots of quite a few Walmarts. Of particular interest to us, the Walmarts in Williamsburg and Berea, where suddenly signs went in and trucks were kicked out with a boot. Truck drivers have told us in past interviews it's okay that Walmart doesn't want trucks staying in their lots overnight. The problem is how the security company handles it by booting the trucks and fining them anywhere from $500 to $800 with no escape route.
They need to stop somewhere to get their 10 hours of rest, and that's where the issue comes in.
Rick Taylor is the president of the Kentucky Trucking Association. He says parking is ranked as the #3 complaint for drivers because there's no space.
If you drive, on any interstate in the morning or in the evening, you'll see trucks parked on exit and entry ramps, which technically that's illegal, but they need somewhere to stop and get their rest.
This isn't a new problem.
And it's not a Kentucky problem. This is a problem across the United States.
But Walmart's decision to ban overnight parking hasn't made things easier. A few months ago, a spokesperson for the corporate office says the reasoning has to do with too many trucks crowding specific Walmart lots like Williamsburg and leaving trash behind. Taylor isn't mad at Walmart. He says rules are rules. But rest is a rule too. According to the federal government, these truckers have to stop somewhere, and the spaces are getting fewer and farther between.
Capacity is an issue. It's there, and there needs to be more places. Yes, we need to have hours of service rules to make sure vehicles are operating safely, that drivers are operating safely. But we also need to find somewhere for them to park if that's the expectations.
In Frankfort, Miranda Combs, WKYT.
Just to show how many trucks are on Kentucky roads, the industry employs 1 in 15 people in our state. R&R Management did not return our phone calls, which has been the case for each story we have aired on the topic. Well, Corbin Independent Schools are having a citywide meal ahead of Thanksgiving. Corbin schools, businesses, churches, and restaurants have come together to plan a community Thanksgiving for those in need. The schools in the district also had a food drive to get food to give for families to have a dinner to cook on Thanksgiving as well.
That's what we're hoping for, that they can come and they can have a dinner with, if they don't have family, they can have a dinner with family, and then they can go make their own if they feel like that's what they want to do.
The dinner and food giveaway will be at Corbin High School from 5 to 7 on Monday night. Well, Perry County received a $241,000 grant for recycling, and now the time to implement a plan is here. A recycling bin was delivered to all 11 schools in Perry County this past week. Although recycling is not a new idea, the recycling bins at Perry County schools are. More than 91% of trash is not being recycled, but with these bins, they can change an idea that will not only better schools in Perry County, but the community as well.
It's really the perfect timing, you know, because they're wanting to get involved and they're wanting to help the planet.
With this grant, Perry County also received a larger baler, which allows them to compact and transport more waste at one time. Well, names on tombstones can fade with time, but one Pike County man is making sure veterans' names are never forgotten. WYMT's Emily Bennett talked to Keith Long, who is pressure washing veterans' gravestones during the month of November.
Like the inscriptions on tombstones, history can fade away.
They're not forgotten to me.
Headstone to headstone, Keith Long is doing everything he can to preserve legacy.
I was just thankful. I was grateful to be here, you know, because without these guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have all these opportunities that's just been handed straight in front of me. There's just no way.
Long was an addict for more than 10 years.
For an addict or an alcoholic, giving back or anything like that, that's the last thing we're worried about. We're worried about serving self, and that's it.
He was in and out of jail and rehab.
Last time I got arrested, it was like, I'm just so tired of this. You know, there's got to be a better life.
Since then, he's found that better life.
Somebody called me to come watch their house or something like that, and it just took off. So, I mean, I've just not looked back.
Part of that life is here in the last place you would expect.
This is the least I can do, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Clean for almost 2 years, he now owns his own business and can think about more than just himself.
I just want to give back to community that's just given so much to me.
Here at the Annie E. Young Cemetery, he power washes veterans' headstones in his free time.
It's just nice that they're not forgotten about. You know, that's kind of the whole reason behind it, is that, you know, nobody's forgotten about.
Knowing nothing is possible without the ones who give the ultimate sacrifice. In Pike County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Long says pressure washing graves is just the tip of the iceberg. He hopes to start volunteering with Habitat for Humanity soon. Well, Kentucky native Elaine Stott is still kicking it so far. In this week's episode of Survivor, Elaine managed to edge out Missy in an immunity challenge. There were 2 tribal councils tonight. In the first, the group voted out Aaron 4-1. In the second, Elaine cast the deciding vote against Missy, voting her out 3-2. But on her way out, Missy told Elizabeth to take out Elaine, quote, slowly and methodically. You can see if Elaine will make it through next Wednesday at 8 right here on WYMT. Well, coming up at 11, a Tennessee man appears in court after prosecutors say he killed a guard in a prison escape.
And we have one more nice day before soggy weather returns. I'll have those details coming up.
When looking for a TV